From the RCA Dome in downtown Indianapolis, the road to the Final Four begins right now. In the Midwest, our first game of the day features the 14th-seeded Crusaders from Holy Cross and the 3rd-seeded Golden Eagles from Marquette. The bracket in the Midwest: Missouri, Southern Illinois, Marquette, Holy Cross here, Indiana, Alabama, Pittsburgh, Wagner in Boston. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner, Len Elmore, and we understand what's going on in the world today, and our thoughts and prayers are with our servicemen in the Persian Gulf, and we at CBS Sports plan on doing our very best to cover this tournament despite these circumstances. And Len, when you look at this game, Marquette taking on Holy Cross. Marquette in Conference USA, they won their regular season, but they lost in their conference tournament, and they have a terrific player in Dwayne Wade.
Well, we're talking about the conference player of the year as well as the leading scorer in that conference. And the thing that marks his game: consistency, athleticism. Combined with his size at 6'5", he's a tough matchup for Holy Cross or anyone else in this tournament.
Looking at Holy Cross, they are out of the Patriot League, and they won their conference tournament and regular season, and they want to be giant killers. They feel they have the experience.
Well, they're a very dangerous seed and a draw in this particular tournament. You take a look at what they've done over the last 2 years, giving Kentucky and Kansas all that they can handle. They're a defensive-focused team, allowing 58 points a game this year, but they'll be looking to establish an inside game on offense.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineups. Holy Cross 26-4, Marquette 23-5. Zatko, Werty, Kinsey, Wilson, and Meade in the backcourt for Marquette. It's Townsend, Merritt, Jackson, Wade, and Travis Diener. Now let's go to Solomon Wilcots, the 3rd member of our team, for a report on Marquette.
Well, guys, the story on the walking wounded could play a huge important part in this ball game. Marquette guard Travis Diener, well, he missed all week of practice with shin splints in his right leg. When I talked to him, he told me it really hurts him to push off when taking that jump shot. So all eyes will be on Travis Diener in the early going of this ball game. Gus and Len.
All right, Solomon. Diener, the 3rd leading scorer on this team at 11 points per game. There's Ralph Willard in his 4th season. This is the 3rd consecutive trip to the NCAAs for Holy Cross. Coach Willard, a former head coach at Western Kentucky and Pittsburgh. On the other sideline, Tom Crean, the head coach at Marquette. Coach Willard gave him his first job back in 1990 at Western Kentucky. He then went with him to Pittsburgh, but Coach Crean has done a lot on his own. His Marquette Golden Eagles 14-2 in conference play. And a look at the officials: Bob Donato, Terry Moore, and Bob Sita. Gus Johnson, Len Elmore from the RCA Dome in downtown Indianapolis. 4th overall meeting between these two teams. Marquette leads the series 3-0. So Werty and Wade in the circle, and we're underway from Indy. What should we expect to see early on in this game?
Well, Ralph Willard told us yesterday he'd like to have his team establish some inside game. Go to Patrick Werty right away. He and Tim Zatko be able to establish something in the paint. Right there, Werty not really able to get anything going. On the defensive end, though, as the underdog, they'd like to try to throw teams out of rhythm, but Marquette is such a deliberate team, they don't really have any rhythm. They just go at you and grind it out.
And Marquette getting on the board first. Robert Jackson, the senior from Milwaukee, a transfer from Mississippi State, gives the Golden Eagles a 2-0 lead. Talking about Werty, he was the Patriot League Player of the Year at 21 points in their tournament championship against American.
Again, Holy Cross likes to play at a deliberate style. They don't turn the ball over that much. And a pretty good defensive team, but there's not a lot you can do when you move the ball as well as Marquette did right here. Drawing the defenders. You saw Werty go to the middle and go to the ball, but a nice job there of dishing it off on the baseline. That's what Marquette does to you. They'll continue to pass and move, find an open man. Very balanced team, very deliberate team.
Inside, Jackson has that one partially blocked by Zatko. Holy Cross in transition. And the rebound going to Wade.
And that's where Marquette has the advantage. A couple of tremendous rebounders in Jackson and Merritt.
Wade, top of the key, frees himself. And Wordy pulls it down. Jave Mead, New York City guard on both of the NCAA tournament teams for Holy Cross. Led the league in assists, over 6 per game. Wordy across the lane, double team. Zacco running a pick and roll. Wordy splits the defense. And a foul coming up against Marquette.
And obviously from the defense Marquette's playing the double team on Wordy. They're very well aware of the fact that Holy Cross wants to establish it inside. What they're doing right now is trying to take away Holy Cross's best player.
Townsend picks up his first foul. Zacco in and out. Wordy with the rebound. Unable to finish. Here comes Diener in transition. Holy Cross 0 for 4 to start this game, but Jave Mead comes up with the steal.
We talked about the fact Holy Cross only allows 58 points a game. It's by no accident. Good defense there.
And Zacco with the finish. Mead is the kind of player that, as the Yankees used to say about Reggie Jackson, he is the straw that stirs the drink.
Well, he certainly is. He's a guy that's got to deliver in this distribution on the offensive end. On the defensive end, the defense begins at the point of the ball.
Here's Jackson backing down. Diener from 20. It's pure.
But right there, Holy Cross began. They gave you a 2-3 look, but they're really playing man-to-man. And Ralph Willard said they'll do that primarily in this game. It's going to be up to Marquette to figure it out, but so far, Marquette's not having a problem.
Kinsey off the dribble. Too strong. Zacco with the rebound and sticks back. Tim Zacco, the senior from Naperville, Illinois, will go to the line.
Well, he was a conference player of the year in the Patriot League in the year 2000. And now he's become like a second option, but he's the kind of guy that makes things happen now. He's a role player. He understands his role. He'll get on the offense glass. He's a hustler. He'll dive for loose balls. So very important is Tim Zacco in the Holy Cross attack.
For those of you expecting to see Gonzaga versus Cincinnati, we will get you to that game shortly. Tip time is 12:40. 5-4. But that's Merritt. Scott Merritt, a junior, hitting the short jump shot. And so far, I think that this pace favors Holy Cross. They'll take it right now.
Well, they would love to play deliberately, but they won't pass up a good shot. Mead will push the ball a little bit when he has an opportunity and explore the defense. But most importantly, they want to play half court. They want to move. They want to utilize the picks, make the defense change and adjust, and then find open people.
Zacco, power dribble, got his man in the air, and banks it home.
And that's what ball movement does. It allows you to get your people in position and get the defense out of position.
And the foul on the play on Jackson.
They're on the cut right down low. Wordy with a nice job. I'm sorry, Zacco with a nice job with the ball on the baseline with the pump fake. Defender out of position. Those headbands are starting to throw me a little bit.
Holy Cross up 7-6. Zacco with all 7 points for the Crusaders. They get back into that zone. Jackson wide open. Wordy with the rebound.
That's not Jackson's shot. He's a high percentage guy from down low.
Jave Mead cut off by Wade. Zacco. Now Holy Cross resets. 14 on the shot clock.
There's that patience in the half court.
Inside, nice move, Wordy with the jam from Brian Wilson.
And it bears repeating, the continued passing movement without the ball has gotten Marquette really out of focus on the defensive end. They're chasing instead of being able to anticipate on defense.
Marquette coming off an 83-76 loss in the Conference USA Tournament to UAB, a game in which they turned it over 30 times. And a foul called on Wade. And right now it looks as if the Golden Eagles are walking in cement. Don't forget, Saturday, it's first round coverage of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. Tips off on ESPN and ESPN2 at 11 Eastern, Alabama State, Tennessee, or ODU versus Boston College. Saturday on ESPN. Gus Johnson, Len Elmore with you. You talked about Holy Cross's desire to get inside. So far, all 9 of their points have come in the paint.
And it's been Tim Zacko and Patrick Werde. Holy Cross, good ball movement, as we mentioned. A lot of interior screening and rolling. And again, we talk about Marquette chasing. Good defenders have to anticipate, but when guys have to chase, that's when you're out of position.
Here's Zacko. 7 points. Jave Mead rims one out. Knocked out of bounds. Will head the other way. Zacko off to a very good start for the Crusaders.
Well, he's got 7 points, and a lot of it right there in point-blank range. Nice job, again, of following, getting offensive rebounds, and going back up. But the idea is you stick around the basket if you're a big guy. Good things will happen.
Diener frees himself and hits the 13-foot jump shot. And Diener told me before the game that last night he had to really ice his shins down, and he also received some stimulation, electronic stimulation. And he told me that those shins feel really good today. Shouldn't be a problem for him. Inside, Werde kicks it back out to Mead. Now Zacko straight away. A brick. Knocked out of bounds.
Going back to Diener, if you've never had shin splints and you're trying to play this game, they can be awfully painful. You can't jump, you can't cut, you can't stop. You know, it takes an awful lot of treatment and also mind displacement to put the pain away in order to come out here and play.
Here's Wilson. Behind Zacko. 5 on the shot clock. Inside, Werde pinning his man and draws a foul. Holy Cross doing a sensational job of establishing their inside game.
Well, Ralph Willard told us that Jave Mead was a key guy. And you take a look right inside there. Mead handles the ball nicely. Shot clock rolling down. Doesn't panic. Sees the defense shift with that very subtle ball fake. And that's when Werde was able to establish himself down low. Again, it all begins with Mead. He's the guy that's got to deliver in distribution.
And Werde misses the first free throw. Terry Sanders called for the foul. Here comes a couple of subs. In for Holy Cross as Zacko heads to the bench. It's Mark Jers along with John Hurley. Missed a pair, and the rebound going to Hurley.
Although I don't know why Hurley passed up a layup. He dribbled right out from under the basket. At 6'8", you got to be able to power that one back up. Holy Cross playing pretty good defense, and you can do it without fouling and still have a lead.
And a traveling violation called against Holy Cross. Let's look at Marquette now. What's going on with them offensively? It seems as if they are vexed by this zone that Holy Cross is using.
Well, they're actually showing a 2-3, but they're not really playing zone. As you see cutters cut through, guys are following them, and that's a sure sign that it's not a zone, that it's man-to-man. But the fact is, Holy Cross is really sagged inside. That's what allows Diener to get that open look. They've sagged inside, taken away the inside game, and forced Marquette to look at the perimeter.
For those of you expecting to see Gonzaga versus Cincinnati, we will get to that game shortly. Tip time is 12:40. Diener has 7 points, all from the outside for Marquette, who takes an 11-9 lead. And Diener can shoot the three-pointer. 35% from the perimeter this year. The foul called up top on Bradley.
And again, you can't compliment him enough. Jave Mead coming out of the double team, doesn't lose his dribble, doesn't pick up his dribble. That's what the double team is designed to do. Make the ball handler pick up the dribble, then you're all over him and you're covering the passing lanes. But Mead keeps his dribble and able to draw the foul.
Here comes another sub in the game for Holy Cross. It's Kevin Hamilton, a freshman from Queens. Wilson takes a seat. But as a result, going inside, Holy Cross already forced Marquette to commit 6 fouls at the 12:34 mark of the first half. Hamilton taking his time. Hurley. Hamilton spinning. Marquette digging in on defense right now. Jave Meade, the kick. Hamilton, catch and shoot. Diener keeps it alive and comes up with the rebound.
With Sotto on the bench, Holy Cross not really hammering the offensive boards as they were earlier.
Diener again. This young man kept out of most of practice yesterday because of shin splints. Is 4 for 4 from the field, and Marquette is finding its rhythm. Travis Diener, the sophomore guard for Marquette, has scored the last 8 points, and they lead at 14-9.
Well, this is an example of taking what the defense gives you. Holy Cross doing a nice job of sagging in, taking the big people away, and Diener really establishing himself on the perimeter. What he's going to be doing now is stretching that Holy Cross defense. It's going to make it a lot easier to get the ball inside to Jackson and to Merritt.
Here comes Jave Meade, the point guard in the backcourt with Kevin Hamilton. Wordy across the lane, very nicely done with the jump hook.
Very powerfully done as well. He gathered himself and powered up there, and that's what he's got to continue to do.
Jackson double team.
Holy Cross just switching every cross to the ball. It looks like it's a zone, and really it plays like a zone.
So it is a zone. No, it isn't. Diener, the kick, no bag. So it is. It looks like a zone. It plays like a zone, but it's not a zone.
But it's still man-to-man, though, because once again, they're looking for opportunities to double. Hopefully in the next trip down, we'll be able to see it more closely.
Foul up top. Coming against Marquette, Bradley. And that is the 7th team foul against the Golden Eagles.
And you can tell Holy Cross has been in this position before, attempting to be giant killer, because when Marquette made that run, you know, a lot of the lower seeded teams haven't been in the face of an onslaught like that. They start to fold and, you know, they run away with it. But Holy Cross has recognized they've been here before. What they've done now, they've slowed everything down. They became even more deliberate, recognizing time and score situation. And that's why they're going to stay in this game. And you can expect that experience to really pay dividends for them.
Meade getting the first one to go. Get complete NCAA tournament coverage with live updated brackets and the latest developments on the road to the Final Four. It's all at CBSSportsLine.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Jave Meade, junior, is a first-team all-league selection in the Patriot League. And he is 20th in the nation in assists with 6 per game. 10:51 to go, 14-13. Welcome back. A quick look at the game summary. 2 threes for Marquette, but they have 17 fouls. No fouls for Holy Cross in the first half.
Well, that's what Marquette is trying to do. They're trying to stretch the defense. Travis Diener has done a nice job of hitting some threes to stretch it. That allows them to go inside. They need to go inside to draw some fouls, get some easy opportunities.
Merritt forces up a shot and draws the foul, and that's the first team foul against Holy Cross, and the Marquette fans in attendance stand and cheer.
Yeah, but you know what? They've got nobody to blame but their team in not getting the ball inside. Certainly Holy Cross's defense has had something to say about that. And also Travis Diener's three-point shooting has changed the complexion of the Holy Cross D. They've had to extend, and that allowed him to get the ball inside.
So Kinsey called for the foul, and this is how Marquette got here. They've won the regular season title in Conference USA, lost in their conference tournament to UAB. They've won 5 of their last 6 ball games. As Merritt hits the second, and the Golden Eagles take a 16-13 lead. Tom Crean, we told you that he was an assistant for Ralph Willard at Western Kentucky and Pittsburgh. He then went over to East Lansing and served as an assistant to Tom Izzo. And he has really turned this program around at Marquette.
Marquette with some full court pressure, zone pressure right now, trying to speed up the tempo of this game, trying to take away the deliberate nature of Holy Cross's half court, and they're going to stay in the zone for a bit.
Hamilton running the baseline. Inside, knocked away. Wade got a hand on it. And Marquette recovers. Here's Diener in transition. The kick to Wade. Off the heel of the rim. And out of bounds. So there's Coach Willard at Western Kentucky. Look at the guy on the right there, Lenny. That's Tom Crean.
Doesn't look like he's aged one bit.
Not at all.
It's almost 10 years ago. And no less animated either is Tom Crean.
So Marquette holds on to the basketball. Here's Wade along with Diener, Merritt, Jackson, and Novak on the court. Merritt, nice spin move, gets it off and hits, but a foul called before the shot.
You know, with the ball movement now, with the stretch defense, now Marquette's finding ways to get the ball to Merritt particularly. And he's pretty nifty with the ball, Scott Merritt.
Wordy called for his first foul. Novak on the baseline. And a reach-in foul coming up against Holy Cross. This time it's Greg Kinsey. And a sub entering the game for Marquette. It's Joe Chapman, a freshman. Diener takes a seat. Job well done. 10 points, 4-4 from the field. Now Wade shifts to the point guard position.
So what the defense is doing with the cutters at the top, they're following into the paint and they're letting them go. But again, Merritt once again comes to the ball with that open space. You get the cutters down and through, that opens it up, and Merritt's flashing and very successful at doing it.
Merritt has some nice feet in the pivot. A couple of spinning moves. And a whistle and foul called away from the basketball.
Well, you're going to take a look at the cutters right here. First of all, you're going to see the step in. As soon as the cutter goes through, and there's a step in right there, a nice flash by Merritt, number 5. And that open area right below the free throw line is there all afternoon so far for Scott Merritt.
Robert Jackson called for a second foul. And Wordy misses the front end of the 1-and-1. 18-13. Here comes Marquette. Wordy 0 for 3 at the free throw line to start this game. Approaching the 9-minute mark. Merritt again. Gets it off. Too strong. Here come the Crusaders. Tipped out of bounds. Will stay right here. Holy Cross out of the Patriot League. They've won 3 consecutive tournament titles, and this is how they got here. 26-4 record. Big win this season over Boston College.
And you recognize that 12-game winning streak. Winning is a habit. And when teams come in, whether they get down by a few or they're playing it even, they understand how to win basketball games. Doesn't matter what level your competition is.
Here's the pitch. Wilson sets his feet. Loose ball and a foul called against Holy Cross. I believe it's Wordy. And yes, it is. It's his second.
It's getting pretty physical inside on both ends. Holy Cross not backing down. Marquette known to be a very physical team. We mentioned before, a grinded out team that will continue to bang you until they get their way.
Meanwhile, Novak hits a 3. He averages 6 points per game and is a terrific three-point shooter at 48% on the year. He's 42 threes. On the other side, Holy Cross 0 for 4 from the three-point line. Marquette 3 of 5. Zotko to the basket, rejected by Wade. He came out of nowhere. Now Chapman. And offensively, Wade has been very quiet. 0 for 2 from the field, no points.
But he's still letting the game come to him. He's been the focal point of this Holy Cross defense, not forcing it, made a good play on the defensive end. So his presence is felt.
Holy Cross remaining patient on offense.
But this is a critical time for Holy Cross right now. This game is about to get away from them. Tom Crean really urging his team on the defensive end simply because this is those moments when you have a chance to put a team away.
Nice catch, Wordy inside, stripped away, no foul. 7:12 to go, 21-13 Marquette.
Marquette leading Holy Cross 21-13. Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg in New York. We'll get you back to that game shortly. But first of all, out in Salt Lake City in West action, the problem with the Cincinnati Bearcats, Clark, as you've pointed out, they have a tendency to run hot and cold, and they started cold in this game.
Yeah, they've been inconsistent offensively all season long. They can get after you and defend. They're very athletic, but they've had trouble putting the ball in the hole. And this is a tough matchup for them because Gonzaga is a very balanced team. They have size. They also have experience in the backcourt, and they're an excellent three-point shooting team.
Gonzaga started the game scoring the first 8 points, and this is a team that you figure Cincinnati probably would have some problems with.
Exactly, because they have size, they can match up front, and they also have good solid play in the backcourt, and they're a very good offensive team. Look at the spacing they show you, the way they execute. They can take you off the dribble, and they also do a good job getting back defensively.
So Gonzaga with an 11-4 lead on the Cincinnati Bearcats. Gonzaga, the 9th seed out west, and the Bearcats, the number 8 seed. And as you see now, 15 minutes to play in the first half in Salt Lake City. Bearcats are a team, too, Clark, that, as you said, they don't normally shoot very well from long range.
When they have shot the ball well, they're very difficult to deal with.
Meanwhile, in the East, at the Marriott Center, there's a timeout in Oklahoma City. North Carolina State trails California by a score of 24-20, and NC State has done well to make up a deficit because Cal jumped out to an 11-3 lead.
They sure did. They shot it well. California, very balanced offensive team. Interesting contrast in styles here. California will get the ball inside. They have a size advantage on NC State, but because North Carolina State has 5 guys on the floor at all times who can shoot the three and dribble penetrate, defense will be important for California the rest of the way.
All right, Clark, let's get you back to Indianapolis and rejoin Gus Johnson and Len Elmore.
So Wordy heads to the bench with 3 fouls. And he's replaced by Nate Lufkin, sophomore from Austin, Texas, guarding Merritt right now. Merritt backs him down, spins baseline, strip, out of bounds.
Again, key situation for Holy Cross. They've got to string together some stops right now. They've got this route going on the offensive end. Got to gain a few more possessions.
Wade with 5 to shoot. Lost it on the board. And jump ball is called. The possession arrow in the favor of the Golden Eagles with 1 second remaining on the shot clock.
And Tom Crean tried to call timeout from the bench, hoping to save some time on the shot clock, not able to do it. And as you mentioned, Gus, 1 second left. There's really not a lot Marquette can do except throw it to the rim. Get Dwayne Wade's athleticism in gear.
Novak inbounding the ball. Wade, no good, doesn't draw iron, so that's a shot clock violation.
And that kind of defensive trip Ralph Willard would like to see from his team. He'd like to see it more consistently right now. Again, the more possessions you have, the more opportunity you have to score. His teams have difficulty scoring the last several times down.
So with their best player on the bench with 3 fouls, what does Holy Cross need to do offensively to get things going?
Well, they need to do the same thing. Use Tim Zacco as the guy that they want to go to inside. But look at Marquette, again, swarming defensively.
Unfortunately, Lufkin, either his foot was on the baseline or he traveled. As Holy Cross turns the ball over for the 3rd time. Cross-court Merritt has it knocked away by Lufkin. Novak. Merritt losing it right into the hands of Wade, who fires. And Wade continues to struggle 0 for 3. But as you mentioned, he is remaining patient, allowing the game to come to him.
Yeah, he's not forcing shots. He's getting them out of the offense, using screens, getting some open looks. It's just a matter of time before a guy who's a prolific scorer like Wade puts it down. Holy Cross has gone 5.5 minutes without a field goal. It really puts a lot of pressure on their defense. We talked about the fact that they only allow 58 points a game. So you know that they can play it. They can string together some stops. And if they can do it, this is the time to get it done.
Diener off the dribble, forces one up, a brick into the hands of Townsend. He's fouled from behind. Now coming up on Singular at the half, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all the tournament news, all the scores and highlights, plus a live look at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament. That's all coming up on Singular at the half. And Diener with another big shot. He's got a feathery touch in the first half. 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting.
And that's the thing that makes Marquette so tough. Terrific execution on their inbounds play. Screeners screen, the shooters shoot.
Sacco loses it to Wade. He can float, and Wade calls the offensive foul.
That's the first time, even though Dwayne Wade has had difficulty scoring, it's the first time he's really forced the issue.
He picks up his second foul. So Wade heads to the bench. Into the game comes Chapman. Holy Cross in desperate need of some offense here. Here's Meade, the kick. Hamilton, nice bounce pass inside. Wilson, foul from behind by Diener. Our first of 4 this afternoon here in Indianapolis. Missouri, Southern Illinois coming up next. I tell you, that Missouri team played really well in the Big 12 tournament.
Well, they're finding their stride right now. They've got a couple of guys really playing well. Obviously, Arthur Johnson, Trayvon Bryant is another guy who has really stepped up over the last couple of games. And Quinn Snyder told us yesterday he's the key to their success going in this tournament.
So Brian Wilson, senior from Plainfield, New Jersey, at the line, sinks the first one. Second team All-Patriot League, and he's a 90% free throw shooter. Take a look at his numbers. And he misses the second. Chapman clears it. 23-14. That was the first Holy Cross point in 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Townsend snatched down by Zatko.
And Holy Cross is putting together the stops that I mentioned. They've now just got to find a way to put the ball in the basket.
Wilson curling around the screen inside, and Lufkin can't lay it down.
They're getting the shots also. Their guys have to finish.
Diener straight away, and he's fouled behind the three-point line. Wow.
And that'll make you tear your hair out, go gray prematurely if you're a coach. Again, Diener running the semi-fast break, open floor situation, uses that nice screen right there. And there's the foul, and you cannot foul a jump shooter. I don't care how hot he is. You're giving him an opportunity on the line at a much higher percentage than you would behind that three-point arc.
Diener, 12 points. Gets the second. He's put up some nice numbers this season as you check out his season's best performances. 21 against St. Louis.
Well, over the last 4 games, he's averaged about 15-point games, so he's really stepped it up on the offensive end.
25-14, Marquette back after this. Patrick Werdy went to the bench with 6 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the first half after picking up his 3rd foul. And Holy Cross in a scoring drought. Somebody else has to step up right now.
Well, that's what this tournament is about. That's what success is about. You take a look at some of the guys there. Jave Mead, number 15. I think he's only taken one shot from the field. As a point guard, you have got to make yourself a threat out there. Otherwise, the defense is playing 5-on-4.
Now Hamilton.
Look how Mead's getting face guarded and literally pushed out of the play. Once he gives the ball up, he's not getting it back.
Wow. Wilson. And the ball lodged between the backboard and the rim. The possession arrow favoring Holy Cross. So the shot clock resets to 35 seconds. And Holy Cross is 0 for 6 from the three-point line. Here's Hamilton.
Again, Joe Chapman doing a nice job on Jave Mead.
Inside, Luskin pivots and banks it home. Finally, for Holy Cross, that ends a drought. It's their first field goal in 8 minutes and 17 seconds.
And that was John Hurley off the bench. He's the guy that passed up an easy layup to kick it back outside once before. But again, this tournament is about people unexpectedly stepping up and taking responsibility.
Just like Travis Diener. Here's a young man that has been struggling with these shin splints, but we were talking earlier about how sometimes when athletes have injuries, they focus a little more.
Well, they displace the pain. That's what we have to do, and that allows you to focus more on success. But Diener, you got to expect that from him. He's a tough guy. Comes out here to play every day, and again, gets the job done.
Chapman called for the foul, face guarding Jave Mead.
And speaking of getting the job done, Diener's got 17 of Marquette's 28 points. He's been the guy that's able to stretch the defense. He's the guy that's been able to allow Marquette to start getting the ball inside. Now they've got a good inside-out balance with Diener and Merritt, and they're taking full advantage.
Chapman called for his first foul as Jave Mead heads to the free throw line. It's funny, Lenny, a couple of years ago, as he hits the first one, I called the Kentucky game with Holy Cross, and I was talking to Coach Willard yesterday, and I said, wow, I remember Jave Mead as a freshman. He looked so young, but a couple of years later, he's starting to look like that a young man.
You know, getting a little growth around his lip.
Exactly, he's maturing.
He's maturing as a ball player, too, although, again, we mentioned the fact he's got to get more assertive offensively.
28-18. Chapman looking inside. Merritt with a quick step on the baseline, stripped away by Hamilton, but he stepped on the out-of-bounds line.
Well, Holy Cross facing a little bit of tough luck. They've made a number of good defensive plays, only to either step on the line, knock the ball out of bounds, and not get possession. But they've got to continue to be assertive.
Merritt fouled. And would you have imagined that Marquette would be up by 10 with one of the best players in the country, 0 for 3 from the field, no points, 4 turnovers?
Well, I'll do you one better, that their other
Dwayne
lead
Wade.
scorer, Robert Jackson, beyond Dwayne Wade, hasn't been effective inside as well. He's on the bench. So 2 of their best players, 2 of their mainstays, not really contributing, and Marquette still getting it done.
Ryan Wilson called for his 3rd foul, and Scott Merritt misses the free throw. Townsend with the rebound. New shot clock for the Golden Eagles. Here's Diener. Short. Snatched down by Mead. The Crusaders want to run it. Zacco the trailer.
Nice look.
Counted and one.
Well, that was all Jave Mead once again. A little bit of shake and bake, forces the defense to focus on him. And then he drops a nice pass down the lanes. And take a look here. Watch him just come to that spot. A little shake and bake, 2 defenders focus.
Before the defense sets, what did your old basketball coach UB Brown call that? The secondary break?
Well, yeah, that's a secondary break. And what Hurley was able to do is just clear by bringing all the defense with him when he went across the lane, and that opened it up.
28-21. And a foul inside. Largest lead of this game, 12 points for the Golden Eagles. Marquette located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They do have a national championship under their belt with the great Al McGuire and Butch Lee. Remember him?
Bo Ellis. That's a pretty good team back then. Some terrific players, obviously, in Dean Meminger,
Dean the Dream,
George Thompson, Maurice Lucas. My good friend played with the Portland Trail Blazers, the Enforcer.
On the other sideline, Holy Cross has also won a national championship back in 1947 over Navy as Townsend gets the free throw to go. They have some pretty famous alums, Bob Cousy, Tommy Heinsohn. 29-21, Marquette. Zotko curling around the screen, and he's stripped and fouled.
And again, this is what Holy Cross has to do. They've got to be and continue to be more assertive offensively. During that drought, they were pretty much going east-west, really not making any headway towards the basket, and that doesn't put any pressure on the defense. Defense will just sit back, wait for you to come to them. If the shot clock runs down, you don't get good looks.
So Zotko at the free throw line, and here's a young man as you take a look at his best numbers rather this season. Here's a young man that was headed for Notre Dame as a walk-on, and Ralph Willard got a call from a buddy of his, and they sent him some tape, and all of a sudden he goes from being a walk-on at Notre Dame to getting a $40,000 scholarship at Holy Cross, and he's been a nice player for the team.
Nice player, good student. He paid it back in dividends. Conference Player of the Year in 2000.
No back. Lufkin in traffic.
And you can see the confidence building in Holy Cross right now. They're making a run. They're blocking out. They're attacking the board. They're playing like a team that understands they can get back in this and are, in fact, back in this game.
Meade, bounce pass, Lufkin with a strong layup, and here come the Crusaders. They're on an 8-1 run with 50 seconds to go in the first half.
So can you imagine the high that Holy Cross will be on if they make a stop here and can hold for the last shot? Again, we said Jave Meade, the key player for Holy Cross. Look at him get surrounded right here. And again, finding people on the baseline. He's the man.
Holy Cross on an 8-1 run. Marquette still holding on to the lead, 29-24. They've led by as many as 12 here in the first half. A lot of school spirit in the building this afternoon, and Patrick Werde on the bench with 3 fouls.
He was ready to go back out there.
Yeah,
he thought he was in. He sees his team on a roll. He wants to be a part.
Meade with the steal. And gets a timeout before he falls out of bounds. Back after this. .2 remaining in the first half. Holy Cross settled it down, and they started attacking, and now they're on an 8-1 run.
Well, they've been able to complement their consistent defense with some offense that has some focus. Jave Meade, we talked about him being a threat. Well, he's not exactly looked at the basket, but he's done just enough to try to penetrate to the basket, force Marquette to adjust to him, and he's been dumping it down, getting some easy shots. Meade, once again, the center of attention and the center for Holy Cross.
About a 3-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Meade just taking his time. 10 to shoot. He'll get into it right now. 7. Pick and roll. Zotko inside. Lufkin with 2 to shoot. Travels.
Well, a little bit of the air was let out of Holy Cross just then. A great opportunity turned over.
Here comes Diener. 2 to shoot. A straightaway 3. Rims out. And that's the end of the first half. Diener with 17 points, but the All-America, Dwayne Wade, ends the first half with no points. And after leading by 12, Marquette now leading 29-24 after an 8-1 run. by Holy Cross. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York. Welcome back. 29-24. Marquette with the lead over Holy Cross at halftime. Gus Johnson along with Len Elmore, Travis Diener, 17 points in the first half. He had a huge impact on the game.
Well, he certainly did. He was able to stretch the Holy Cross defense that was sagged inside. And again, when Holy Cross came out, the one thing they wanted to be able to do was sag, take away the big people. Diener has stretched that defense, and then on the other end, Holy Cross really not able to get anything started from outside. Take a look at the three-point field goal percentage. Holy Cross, nothing.
And moments ago, Solomon Wilcox caught off with Holy Cross head coach Ralph Willard.
Your team go over 8 minutes without hitting the field goal, but yet you only trail by 5 points. What do you have to do for improved scoring in the second half?
Well, obviously make some free throws. We missed 6 free throws, 2 of them 1-and-1s, and then we got to stop Diener. I mean, it's not a matter of, we got to work harder with the basketball. We got to stop Diener. Diener has 17 out of the 29 points.
All right, Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Pretty simple as you take a look at the leading scorer, Zacko with 11 points, Diener 6 of 9, 17. And Coach Willard talking about those free throws. They were 8 of 14 from the free throw line, and Marquette 5 of 8. So we start the second half. Marquette in white with the basketball. They led by as many as 12 in the first half.
And there's that switching man-to-man by Holy Cross.
Dump down Wade to Jackson. Nicely done.
But with the focus on Travis Diener, there are going to be more opportunities inside for guys like Robert Jackson.
Dwayne Wade 0 for 3 from the field in the first half. No points. He led Conference USA in scoring over 20 a game.
For Holy Cross, their game plan is get it inside. All 8 of their field goals have been inside the paint.
Wordy, the left-handed layup.
Make that 9.
Got lucky there. Could have been called for an offensive foul as he lowered his shoulder on Robert Jackson. And a whistle. A foul coming up.
Patrick Wordy with 3 fouls. Still very assertive going to the basket. You see there, that looked like a flop. Certainly lowered his shoulder. But you got to do more than that. This is the NCAA tournament. You're not going to get that call.
Spoken like a true center. Kinsey called for 3rd foul and count that one. And the foul.
When you're having difficulty scoring as Dwayne Wade is, the best way to do it is to get in close. Start getting a couple of those layups, and you see Holy Cross a little confused on the defensive end, looking to try to regroup.
Wade adds the free throw, and he's finally on the board. 3 points for Wade.
It's a young man that averages almost 22 points a game and very quiet. Obviously, Holy Cross doesn't want him to get heated up.
Mead off the dribble, and he misses the bunny. Diener the other way. And a reach-in foul coming up against Holy Cross. And that's Greg Kinsey. Called for his 4th. Wade may have gotten poked in the eye. So Kinsey heads to the bench. Jers replaces him, number 22 for Holy Cross. He's a senior out of Bergen Catholic High School in New Jersey. Diener, baseline penetration. Jackson forced it up, can't get the bounce, keeps it alive, and finally the rebound goes to Zacko.
But you can see where Diener's presence, his ability from outside, has allowed him now to be able to penetrate.
Wilson from Mead, and knocked out of bounds. 2 missed opportunities for Holy Cross. Layups at point-blank range.
Well, certainly, again, these are missed opportunities, as you mentioned, that come back to haunt you later on. Holy Cross has very little margin for error. When you can get the ball in the paint and get a shot up on the glass, you got to be able to finish.
Now Merritt stepping out, wheeling, fires, and another foul, and that is number 4 on Patrick Wordy. With 17:57 to go in the second half, he'll have to take a seat.
Well, as a senior, you got 3 fouls on you. You got to exercise some judgment right here. Hands straight up. Instead, he reached in, made the contact, and that's 4 fouls, and that severely limits Holy Cross. Most of their offense, in fact, all of their offense from the field has come inside.
So Merritt at the line, and here comes Lufkin, replacing the Patriot League Player of the Year. 2 starters for Holy Cross with 4 fouls, Wordy and Kenzie.
Well, the good news for Ralph Willard is that Nate Lufkin came in the first half and gave his team a bit of a lift, 2 for 4 from the field. So he's got some ability in that paint.
On the baseline, Wilson fires and rips one.
That's the first jump shot, I think, that Holy Cross has made all afternoon, and it couldn't come at a better time for them, especially with their inside game limited.
Merritt inside, bounces out, loose ball, squirts out, Wilson dives, and calls a timeout. 17:30 to go in the second half, 35-28 Marquette.
Welcome back. Marquette is up by 7. Now, over a year and a half ago, Marquette assistant coach Trey Schwab is suffering from a pulmonary cystic fibrosis. He basically needs a lung transplant, and the good news is that he has moved up number 1 on the donor list.
Maybe 35-28 Marquette with the lead. Here's Wilson again and knocks down the 3. So back-to-back shots for Brian Wilson, the senior from Plainfield, New Jersey. And Holy Cross cuts the Marquette lead 4.
And Brian Wilson, the hot player coming in for Holy Cross, coming into this game, made 10 of his last 20 field goal attempts. So he's picking up where he left off in the conference tournament.
Townsend with a nice backdoor cut to the basket. Wade wraps it around. Inside Lufkin, the kick. Wilson again. Snatched down by Wade. And Diener loses it out of bounds.
And boy, you talk about hustle. We tell you about the pain that Travis Diener is in with those shin splints. But once again, displacing that pain and putting it all out there. Nice rebound. There's the fumble. And look at that hustle. You kind of like a guy like that. You want to play with somebody like that.
He is certainly a competitor. Travis Diener, only 165 pounds. But the heart of a champion. Inside, Lufkin wheeling. Nice touch with the left hand.
And once again, Robert Jackson flopping. And what's that going to do is later on, the officials, when there's a legitimate opportunity, they may not call it because he's now gaining a reputation for flopping inside. When you're big and strong, you don't want to start flopping. You want to be able to use that strength.
Diener, Meade closing on him quickly. As Ralph Willard told Solomon Wilcots, they have to guard Travis Diener. (37-33). Marquette is led by as many as 12, but Holy Cross starting to find their rhythm in the second half. Brian Wilson has hit 2 of his 3 shots. Diener down the lane. Merritt has it stripped out of bounds. No, he just couldn't hold on.
Well, it's been a game where Holy Cross really sagged in the middle at the beginning of the first half and took away Marquette's inside game. But here comes Travis Diener to the rescue. A terrific first half with 17 points. And now Holy Cross is finding some outside range to go along with what they've been trying to do inside and stay close.
Jers, count it. Here come the Crusaders. 37-36. And they get back into a zone. Wade forced it up and draws the foul.
Well, Jers that time bailed Dwayne Wade out. Dwayne Wade having a lot of trouble getting good looks. You know, has a tendency now, as we mentioned in the first half, he's letting the game come to him. Now a tendency to start forcing a little bit. And you don't want to bail a guy out when he's struggling offensively.
But don't you want great players when the offense isn't coming and you know you need them to sometimes force some shots up if they can get into a scoring rhythm?
No, I want him to force shots up. What I want to do is create opportunities where he's comfortable in making shots.
Gets the second one to go. 39-36. Back moment. Holy Cross's confidence growing. They are on a 20-11 run dating back to the end of the first half.
Well, one of the things Holy Cross has been able to do is establish a perimeter game. You know, they've been limited again with Wordy on the bench with 4 fouls. He's one of their main inside guys. But here, a little inside out from Zatko or to Jers, and they've been able again to now stretch the Marquette defense. Opens it up so they can go back inside, which is their major element of the game plan.
Holy Cross can tie it with the 3 right here. Here comes Meade. Around the corner, Lufkin, the jump hook, got it.
And then back inside. Again, all you need is to hit a few from the perimeter, force the defense out a step or 2, and that gives Meade an opportunity to penetrate and find.
Merritt across the lane and a foul. Near the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. Today, Chevrolet has contributed more than $8 million to the general scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. 1-point ball game. First round matchup between 14th-seeded Holy Cross and 3rd-seeded Marquette. Diener. Now Wade, double teamed up top. Merritt looks like he traveled. He got away with it, but comes up short.
And look at Holy Cross seal the backboard right there. Again, limiting Marquette to just 1 shot. And now they're working very well offensively, Holy Cross. So they're getting the game plan done. Ralph Willard has to be pleased.
Wilson hit 2 big shots in the second half thus far. Zatko stepping out. Meade with the step on the baseline. And Holy Cross takes a 40-39 lead.
And Jave Meade, we said, had to be more assertive in the first half. Really didn't look at the basket. Now he's a threat. And he places pressure on the Marquette D.
Holy Cross's last lead. 9-8 in the first half off the heel of the rim for Wade. Merritt spinning. Wade snatches it down, but somehow Jers comes out of the pack with the ball.
Unfortunately, Wade collided with his teammate, Terry Saunders, and lost it.
Extra pass, Zatko on the box. Backdoor, Wilson. Tipped up and in by Lufkin, but it will not count. Basket interference. It had not bounced out of the cylinder.
Well, first of all, excellent play, excellent find down the lane. Wilson's got to make this. That ball looked like it was off the cylinder. Tough break for Ralph Willard. He didn't get to see the replay, but he's going by the crowd reaction.
Now Diener along with Novak. Wade, Jackson, and Townsend. Here's Jackson. Double team. And that is an offensive foul. That's a good call. What do you want to do as a post player when that double team comes?
You've got to receive, and then you can't panic. Here comes the double. Jackson puts it on the floor, really has no place to go with it, and he tries to clear and make room. Once again, you've got to not panic. You see the collision right there. You've got to hold the ball, locate the defense, even with the double team, and then find somebody. If you panic, you allow the double team to surround you, and then you do things like Jackson did, and that's instinctive, try to create room.
3rd foul on Jackson. 13 minutes to go in the second half. Meade down the lane and draws the foul.
Well, you can't say enough about Holy Cross, how assertive they've become on the offensive end. There was a stretch in the first half. They went into a drought. They were going east-west, really not looking at the basket, dribbling around at it, moving the ball. They're focused on going to the basket with aggression, and then they're finding people because they're forcing the defense to change.
Jers, and it goes. Holy Cross. They have shaken off those first half jitters. They've got the look in their eye now. Let's play. Let's play basketball. 43-39, Holy Cross.
And again, asserting the perimeter game. Mark Jers behind the pole right there, just steps on his screen. Marquette doesn't adjust. Jers has got a wide open look. Here's another look right there from deep. But the fact is, when you look at Holy Cross now, everything in their half-court execution is crisp, and it's done with confidence. This is a team that has been here in the last couple of years close to making a big upset and not quite getting there, and now they still have the confidence feeling they can get it done tonight.
Diener with the answer. Travis Diener, the sophomore, has been the man this afternoon for Marquette. He now has 20 points. And Holy Cross lead cut to 1. And you talk about this Holy Cross team, 3 consecutive trips to the NCAAs. They lost to Kansas last year, 70-59. Led at halftime. Zacco inside, had it taken away. And a whistle. And the year before, on Long Island, they played a great ball game against Kentucky, losing 72-68. Tayshaun Prince, Keith Bogans. Those 2 great players on the team for Kentucky at the time.
Well, ever so close has Holy Cross been, but never able to get over the hump. And that last possession was an example. You got to maintain that focus. That time there was a bit of a letdown, a lazy pass, and Marquette's not going to go down easy. You know, this is a team that's accustomed to being ahead. This is a team that's accustomed to being assertive on the defensive end.
Wade at the line, shooting 1 and 1. Sub coming in, Kevin Hamilton for Holy Cross, Brian Wilson. And the team fouls, 17 fouls against Holy Cross. A reversal of the first half when Marquette committed most of the fouls early, allowing the Crusaders to get into the bonus. Second one pure. Marquette reclaiming the lead by 1. Now they pick up full court.
Again, trying to quicken the pace, looking for at least one trap.
Hamilton walks it over the line. Jers wide open on the weak side. Great ball. And Lufkin steps on the baseline. 11:52 to go in the second half. We've got a 1-point game in Indy. One-point game at the RCA Dome in downtown Indianapolis. With 11:52 to go in the second half. Marquette, a 3 versus Holy Cross, a 14. And the Crusaders finally gaining their confidence in the second half. Well, it may have happened at the end of the first half.
Well, and they're doing it with 2 starters on the bench with 4 fouls. And particularly inside, you got to give Nate Lufkin an awful lot of credit for stepping in right now. He's got 8 points and doing a nice job inside on the board.
Wade with the off-balance jump shot. Hamilton snatches it. And here comes Meade. Look at that low dribble. Now Lufkin on the baseline. Inside Meade. And we have a foul.
Meade didn't look like he wanted the ball down there in that
he
paint.
Certainly didn't.
A little unaccustomed to the territory. But once again, Diener, with a little bit of a height advantage, bailed him out with the bump.
But Meade is doing a great job when he gets inside. He's been able to find people. 6 points, 8 assists for Jave. 11:18 to go in the second half. Marquette at one time led by 12 points. Holy Cross came back to take the lead. And now the Golden Eagles are back up by 1. The rebound, Zacco misses the layup. Lufkin, and a run. Nate Lufkin off the bench today in place of Patrick Werde, the Patriot League Player of the Year, and he's having a terrific game, 10 points.
Well, we just mentioned Lufkin and the impact he's had in the paint. Again, you hang around. He was about to get back on defense, and now he sees the misses, and there he is, just hanging around the front lip of that rim, making something good happen. Again, tremendous tenacity on the glass by Holy Cross.
Lufkin with 10 points. He averages 5 points per game. Only plays 14 minutes a game. Adds the free throw. The young man from Austin, Texas. And Holy Cross takes a 2-point lead.
We talked about this tournament once again being about extraordinary circumstances, bringing out extraordinary performances. And Nate Lufkin is the guy right now wearing that label.
Diener Inside, Merritt. Rejected out of bounds. And Diener's hurt, folks. Diener may have twisted his ankle on that last play.
Again, we talked about Lufkin on the offensive end. Here he is defensively making plays. And again, it's so big because Patrick Word is Conference Player of the Year, leading scorer for Holy Cross, on the bench with 4 fouls. And Lufkin has come in and hit the ground running.
Novak, count it. He's dead on from downtown. Marquette goes up by 1.
Steve Novak led the conference in three-point field goal percentage. Can't give him any daylight, and Holy Cross has got to pay attention to him as this game wears on.
We've had 8 lead changes in this game thus far. Lufkin feeling it. Meade cut off.
Meade trying to attack the gap in this defense.
And a foul. Jackson holding on to Lufkin. Don't forget, Saturday, first round cover, the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship tips off on ESPN and ESPN2 at 11 a.m. Eastern. Georgia Tech versus Virginia Tech, a 7 versus a 10, or Western Kentucky against Rutgers, a 4 versus a 13. Inside, Lufkin. Lufkin continues to dominate in the second half, and Holy Cross takes a 1-point advantage.
And as I said, you can feel the confidence swell in Holy Cross. And Lufkin's the middle of that.
Merritt, power dribble, misses the layup. Wade grabs it, misses, and somehow Jers snatches it down. Holy Cross with numbers.
Good decision right there to pull back. Didn't have the opportunity he wanted, and Holy Cross back to their methodical half court.
Inside, Zatko.
Jalve Meade. You talk about finding folks, threading the needle.
Meade with 10 assists and a 3-point Holy Cross lead. They've led by as many as 4. Merritt. Chapman dialing up a 3. Count it. He stepped into that one with the utmost confidence to tie this game at 50.
Well, Marquette can't rely on Dwayne Wade anymore, or Travis Diener is not even in the ball game. They have to have the other guys stepping up. Wade not having a Wade-like night.
1 of 7 from the field.
I should say day. I know we're in a dome, so I can't.
Here's a high pick and roll. Meade and Zatko. The kick. 5 to shoot. Jers has got to get it off. That one blocked. Loose ball and a shot clock violation called against Holy Cross.
A little frustration by Ralph Willard. Again, team has to continue to get those opportunities. Get the ball up on the board. Give our guys a chance.
Coach Willard, so much success in his career, led a Western Kentucky team to the Sweet 16.
And again, Travis Diener back in the game, although a little ginger as he's walking on that right leg. It looks like a slight limp as well. I don't think he twisted his ankle. It looked like he might have gotten kicked in that shin.
There's Travis. Got a couple of cousins that play Division I basketball. All named Diener, 1 for St. Louis. And 1 for DePaul. Now Wade. Let's take a look at the Dieners. Drake, Drew, Travis. DePaul and St. Louis. Travis posting the best numbers of the 3.
Family get-togethers must have been awfully competitive.
Exactly. And Wade, 9 points, 7 coming from the free throw line. Marquette up by a deuce.
Marquette known to be a pretty good defensive team. This is when they've got to lock in right now.
Zatko steps out. Wade had it, lost it. Meade with the rebound. Nice steal. Lufkin ejected, but he's fouled.
Again, we talk about assertiveness, and Nate Lufkin acting like he belongs here. Again, first of all, a nice job. Once again, Meade inside paint. Makes a no-look in the attack of the glass. Right there, to the rim, to the front of the rim. And Nate Lufkin really, again, feeling it. And when you have that type of success, you don't believe anybody can stop you. You challenge all comers.
As he misses the first free throw. Lufkin averaging 6 points per game during his career. At Holy Cross, he's 6 of 8 from the field today. Misses the second free throw. Bounces around. Last touch by Marquette. 7:50 to play. A 2-point game. A look at the tournament summary. 4 Conference USA teams getting into the tournament, and Marquette is seeking its first tournament win since 1996. Marquette with a 2-point lead on the court for Holy Cross. Zotko, Jers, Meade. And Purdy comes back in along with Brian Wilson. Wilson got this thing started for Holy Cross in the second half, hitting 2 big shots from the perimeter.
That time Marquette started out in zone, but they were switched to man-to-man. A little difficulty in finding some folks.
Jers off the dribble. That's an air ball. Loose ball into the hands of Wilson. Now Meade, the runner, off the heel of the rim. Zotko with the rebound. They're out hustling Marquette right now. Inside, Wordy rejected, but he's fouled. Holy Cross wanting it just a little more on that sequence.
And you got to know this or day when the ball bounces your way. And on a couple of loose balls right here, the ball has gone right to Holy Cross, which results in that penetration and kick. And again, going to the basket strong, that's the name of the game. You know, you go in there timidly, you don't get those calls.
Sankoff for a second foul as Wordy makes the first. 7 points, 6 rebounds for Patrick.
Again, not a Patrick Wordy type day, but you got to admire the fact that even with the 4 fouls, he went to the basket strong that time and got himself to the free throw line. You got to let it hang out now. If you're Patrick Wordy, your team needs you. Although you know Nate Lufkin's on the bench, he's provided a big lift. So that should give him some confidence. Marquette, on the other hand, again, they've got an opportunity right now to be very methodical, but they got to get better shots and they got to hit the board.
Here's Meade, the penetration. Holy Toledo. Jave Meade, that's a New York City point guard. Way the other way, banking it home. End-to-end play.
Those are the kind of shots that you got to get. You got to get into the hands of your guy who can make plays and make baskets.
Way 2 for 8. Jave Meade has been the big difference for Holy Cross in the second half. 8 points, 10 assists.
The closer Holy Cross stays in this basketball game and the longer they stay in it, the tighter Marquette has to become, being the higher seed.
Wordy draws another foul, and it's Sanders. And what do you see when you look at the Midwest bracket?
Well, obviously we see one potential upset. There's another down there, I think, Indiana, Alabama, although that wouldn't necessarily be one in my mind. Pittsburgh and Wagner. Pittsburgh, to me, is the best defensive team, possibly next to Kentucky, in the tournament right now. And that potential matchup of Pittsburgh and Indiana, or Pittsburgh and Alabama, could be very interesting.
Wordy hits the first.
Now I can hear the phone ringing from my buddy Derek Wittenberg at Wagner telling me, "Are you overlooking us?" No, anything can happen. You know, we know that's cliched, but I mean, it's a fact. There's no other way to put it.
Beautiful thing about March Madness. Second free throw good for Pat Wordy. And a sub coming into the game, Robert Jackson, who replaces Terry Sanders. 6:20 to go in the second half. Marquette in the first half got off to a great start when they led by 12, but Holy Cross reeled them in at the end of the half, going on an 8-1 run. And that's where they found their confidence. Wade, crossover dribble. Merritt, knocked out of bounds, Jers.
And there's where Dwayne Wade has to get himself under control. He knew he was going to make the good play, but it was a bad pass. You know, if they're going to shut Dwayne Wade off, that means it takes more than one guy. Somebody's open, and the great ones deliver the ball and make other guys better.
Chapman, again, he hits a big three. 2 big threes for Joe Chapman, and he's only a freshman from Sauk Village, Illinois.
Talk about guys coming off the bench. It's Lufkin for Holy Cross. Now Chapman's emerging.
Jers. Hesitation. Meade, the kick. Wilson. And Jackson with the weak side rebound. Diener, Jackson, Chapman, Wade, and Merritt. Wade, fade away. Just won't go down for him today. And Jers with his 4th rebound.
Good block out by Zotko that time on Jackson. Just kept his body on him, made it difficult. The fundamental things now count. Going down the stretch, you want to survive and move on, you better take care of the fundamentals.
Wilson. And he gets it.
Boy, how close did Diener come to a breakaway layup with a steal? Just a matter of inches.
That's the 13th lead change of this game. 58-57. Diener again. Chapman with the rebound. Diener reloads. Pure. Travis Diener. Only a sophomore with the confidence of a senior. And Marquette takes a 2-point lead. A timeout called by Holy Cross. Diener 5 of 8 from the 3-point line. Marquette by 2.
Greatest moments in NCAA basketball: 1956, the perfect season; 1957, triple unbelievable overtime; 1982, New Orleans voodoo; 1983, the Cinderella story; 1992, the greatest game played ever.
Get the Singular NCAA text package, interactive voting, game starts, overtime alerts, final scores, plus unlimited text messaging for only $2.99 a month.
I call it the Fred Jumper Never Miss a Moment plan.
Go to singular.com/NCAA or visit your Singular store now to find out why Singular fits you best.
One of the smallest men on the floor is playing big today. Travis Diener has 5 threes, Lenny.
Well, Travis Diener has filled the void normally occupied by Dwayne Wade as the go-to guy for Marquette. And again, it comes down to stretching the defense, taking what it gives you. Diener loves to step up and take that 3, 9 for 15 from 3-point range. And again, Holy Cross has just decided they're not going to come out on him. And he's making the most of it.
Here's Meade. Receives the screen. Stop and start to the bucket. Left hand, no. Lufkin with the rebound. And he draws a foul. Nate Lufkin crashing the boards from the weak side. And he has just had a nose for the basketball today.
And that's what you teach big men. You set that high screen, your guard comes off and goes the opposite way. You dive to the weak side glass. Because once again, you hang around the front of that rim, good things happen.
And Robert Jackson fouls out with 4 points. And he was the second leading scorer on this team. Here comes Sanders to replace him. You can follow each game of the NCAA tournament on the internet. For more information on how you can watch March Madness from your computer, just go to ncaasports.com. Lufkin at the line, misses the first.
Again, we talked about fundamentals coming down to rebounding, free throws, good defensive position. Lufkin only 1 of 4 from the line.
Missed the second. And the loose ball goes to, oh, they say it's a jump ball, and Holy Cross has the possession here. 3:56 to go. Marquette 60-58. Let's take a look at the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. 3-point shooting. Marquette with 9 threes this afternoon. Holy Cross with 3.
I'll tell you, one of the things that just jumps out at you is the fact that beyond that gap in 3 points, Holy Cross has missed 10 free throws, yet they've been able to get the ball inside.
As you take a look at the game reset, both teams over the limit.
And that's where they've been able to do most of their damage, to offset that three-point shooting in Marquette.
Merritt blocking Wilson. Reaching out and foul. Getting a hand on the ball. Here comes Marquette. Diener. Chapman with the rebound. Chapman has had a big game for the Golden Eagles. Chapman, Diener, Wade, Merritt, Sanders. And that one off the mark. Merritt looking for Sanders on the block. Holy Cross can tie it up right here. Meade forces a shot up. Merritt grabs it and gets a timeout. 3:16 remaining in the second half. A 2-point game.
Marquette leads by 2 with 3:16 left. And here, a pretty good play by Scott Merritt on the drive. And then the rebound. Merritt has an opportunity to gain possession, but falling out of bounds, he calls timeout. Pretty good heads-up play. Normally, I don't like it, particularly when it's a tie-up situation. In your direction, don't waste the timeout. Just get tied up and you get the ball back. But on that situation, Merritt was falling out of bounds, would have lost possession, so the timeout was meaningful.
Wade with a tough shot in traffic. Dwayne Wade, 3 of 10 from the field, 13 points. Marquette goes up 62-58.
And that makes that possession and timeout by Scott Merritt even more meaningful. Give him the opportunity for that one to go in front 4.
Jers, the rainbow jump shot off the mark. Holy Cross going cold here in the last few minutes.
Well, here's where being in the big games count a little bit. And again, Marquette bigger, a bit stronger overall, is starting to grind it out. They got pretty good half-court execution. You know you got Travis Diener. That's kind of a bailout situation on the perimeter, but you got a guy like Dwayne Wade, prolific scorer. That's who you want to start with.
Sanders across the lane. The jump hook, no. Tapped around. Jave Meade comes up with the rebound.
That time poorly executed. Wade gives the ball up, and the wrong guy takes a shot.
Inside Wordy, foul from behind. Good job by Wordy sealing Sanders, and Sanders has basically been reaching around and fouling him.
Well, both he and Jackson have been doing that, and that's just a terrible habit by big guys. Again, here, first of all, getting the ball to the corner. There's the seal, and you see the left arm of Sanders around Wordy. But again, Dwayne Wade has got to get more opportunities like this, putting it on the floor, getting it to a spot where he can elevate.
And here's where free throw shooting will be a key as Wordy gets the first one to go. Holy Cross in the double bonus on the season. They are a 71% free throw shooting team. Wordy is a 76% free throw shooter. He's hit his last 5. Make it 6 to cut it to 2. 1:56 to go. Here we go. March Madness. A 3 versus a 14. Holy Cross has been close before against Kentucky a couple of years ago and Kansas last season.
But this should tell a lot of people where Holy Cross truly is.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness, Wade.
Well, that's what the Stars do. They step up when it counts. And Dwayne Wade doing a nice job of dribbling and getting to a point where he can elevate. It's the second time in a row. 15 points, all of them in this half.
Wordy. Meade has been reluctant to shoot that 3-pointer.
Wade with only 3 points in the first half, so he's been tremendous for Marquette down the stretch.
Here's Meade. Pure. Jave makes it a 64-62 game. He has 10 points and 10 assists.
Well, the point I was making about Holy Cross, yes, they play in the Patriot League. Yes, they're a 14 seed. But remember, number 6 in the country, or number 2 in the country as far as points allowed at 58 per game. And look what they're doing with Marquette at 64.
Timeout called by Marquette. 47.4 remaining in regulation. The reset. Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Both teams over the limit. Marquette with 10 fouls. That means Holy Cross will shoot 2 free throws on every foul.
And the point I was making before we went to the break was the fact that Holy Cross is a legitimate defensive team regardless of who they play. 58 points allowed per game. And you take a look again, Team 53, the last time Holy Cross walked off an NCAA tournament court victorious.
Remember, they won the national championship against Navy in 1947.
And if you don't think defense wins championships, watch the last 47 seconds of this one.
So here we go. Diener at the point with Wade, Merritt, Sanders, and Novak. Wade slipping, tied up, and I believe, yes, they call their final timeout with 11 seconds on the shot clock.
And the possession arrow was pointing towards Marquette. Wade falls down, holds the ball. He has to get tied up. They've got the lead, so it doesn't matter whether Holy Cross grabs him with 2 seconds or 5 seconds. But the fact is, he didn't have to call that last timeout.
Ralph Willard has been close before, especially a couple of years ago at the Nassau Coliseum when his Crusaders battled the Kentucky Wildcats. The game tied at 58 with 6:28 remaining. Kentucky went on to win the game. Last year they led Kansas at halftime, and the Jayhawks going on to win at 70-59.
And we can sit here and we can marvel at that, but Ralph Willard will tell us, as he has, there are no moral victories here. You come here, you play to win.
And Ralph told us yesterday that he watched the Kentucky game of a couple of years ago for the first time this year. He couldn't bear to watch it, and he said we played terribly. Here's Merritt along with Wade. Wade off the dribble, hands it off to Diener. Quick release. Oh, my goodness. Diener with 25 points, 30 seconds to go. Marquette up by 4.
Got to go for the quick 2. You got an opportunity, and then they lost it.
Diener at the right place at the right time. And he's fouled in the backcourt.
Again, just perfect execution. A little bit of a weave right here. Wade goes, hands off to Diener. No step out. He buries it.
And if you weren't with us at the top of our broadcast, Solomon Wilcots reported that Travis Diener has been suffering or has been suffering from shin splints. He hasn't been able to practice very much.
He is suffering no more.
No, he isn't. As he adds the first free throw. Barely practiced the last couple of days. He told me before the game that he started having problems with the shin splits about a month ago. And he hits the second. 27 points for Travis. 68-62 Marquette.
So you got to really push right now, explore that defense.
Meade blocked from behind.
Now you got to
Sacco for 3. Count it with 12 seconds to go. It's a 3-point game.
And in the previous possession, that's what Holy Cross wanted to do. Explore the defense and then look for the 3 if they didn't get the 2.
68-65. 12 seconds remaining. So what do you do here if you're Holy Cross? Obviously, you want to foul, right?
Absolutely. You try for the steal initially, but you got to foul right away.
Zacco only a 29% shooter from 3-point range.
You know, right now with Marquette in the double penalty, they get 2 shots. They'd be able to make it a 2-possession game.
And Marquette, a very good free throw shooting team.
Well, they certainly are at 77%. They got some guys out there that can put it down. They're 15 and 19 today. So, again, the free throw shooting really came back to hurt Holy Cross, and it certainly worked to the benefit of Marquette. Holy Cross has missed 10.
68-65. Holy Cross seeded 14. Marquette at number 3. Tom Green, when we visited with him yesterday, he was focused. Some people may say he was a little bit tight, and maybe he was, but I tell you what, he knew going into this game that Holy Cross could cause him some problems. So Dwayne Wade ready to inbound the ball, and they put in Neal Fingleton, a 7'6" sophomore from Durham, England, to guard the ball. They find Diener, and Diener quickly fouled by Meade with 10.9 to go. And he's not the man you really want to foul. An 82% free throw shooter.
Beyond that, though, he's got a feel for the dramatic. You know, he's hit some big shots throughout this afternoon. Just when Marquette could feel it slipping away, Diener steps up, makes things happen, and now he's got the ability to put this game away for Marquette.
Gets the first one to fall. Travis Diener, 28 points. Time slipping away for the Crusaders. Second one good, 70-65. Marquette picks up full court. Here's Wilson, lost his backcourt footing and a backcourt violation. He was over the line, and that'll do it.
Again, in the haste of trying to get the ball up quickly for a three, Wilson slips. Now he sees the only open guy he can get it to, Jave Meade. Unfortunately, he was on the other side of the lines.
So Merritt ready to inbound the basketball. He finds Novak, and Novak waits to get fouled, and he is. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Jave Meade, 10 points, 10 dimes, and Travis Diener, 17 in the first half. He scores a career high 29.
Boy, that's a demonstration of emotion and relief by Dwayne Wade. Not on top of his game, but his buddy Travis Diener bailed him out, bailed the team out with an extraordinary performance. On the other side, if you're Ralph Willard, you know, you kind of get tired of being close and close, but no cigar.
Novak, a 92% free throw shooter, gets a pair. 6 seconds to go. Here's Meade in the corner. Jers, count it. 72-68 the final. Marquette receives a scare, but Travis Diener turns it on and scores 29. 72-68 the final. And the bracket in the Midwest, Marquette advancing. They will take on the winner of Missouri Southern Illinois coming up next. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel, who's standing by in New York.
All right, Gus, thank you. So the Patriot League in its 12-year existence still yet to win an NCAA tournament game as the Crusaders.